Alright, this is a dictionary app created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now let me show you what it does. On page reload, this is how it looks. You can search for something over here. Let me search for, you're getting the text and you're getting the meaning to it. Cool. In case if you are wondering to learn JavaScript, so I have a separate tutorial playlist for that. We are here at episode number 71. In case if you are a beginner, I would recommend to start from episode 1. As we go to the advanced, as we keep on incrementing the episode, we have difficulty on each video, so I would recommend you to start from episode 1 in case if you are a beginner. If you are okay with JavaScript, you can directly jump and start along with me. To follow along, I'll leave the source code in the description. In case if you got stuck somewhere, you can just copy paste the code and start along. Let's start designing this page. Fine, let's get started. So we need 3 files, so let me create 3 files on the same folder. So I'm going to name this as index2.html and style2.css. Let's script2.js. Okay. Control and Control S. Cool. Now exclamatory tab will create a boilerplate template for you. If you want, you can change the title. We have to link the style sheet which we have created right now, style2.css, and again we have to link the script tag which we have created right now, which is script2.js. Now just to save time, I'm just going to copy paste the code. So let me explain the HTML for you. So overall we have a container. This white background is the container, and then we have a header, so this is the header, and then we have a search div. This search div holds three children. The first one is input field, as you can see here, and the second one is the close button. Once I type something, you will see the close button here, and then we have the search icon. You can see this is the search icon. So this is what inside the container as a second child. Now as a third child, we have a list of UL, just one UL which holds the list of list items. So all of these are surrounded inside unordered list. So this first section is one list item, this second section is another list item, this third section is another list item, and so on. Finally we have this list item. And now what we need is, this is first list item. Only the first list item is not inside the div, and the other three are inside the main parent, which is called content. And it's just, and the rest list item is just the copy paste of this one. So you can see list item holds the class details. This class details has paragraph and span. The same details, paragraph and span. And finally one extra div is there for the synonyms, so we'll style it. Let me copy this code, and we just need the content inside the body. Copy the container section and paste it into our code, and we are using font awesome, so for that we need CDN. I am using the font awesome CDN, and the Google font, which is material symbols, is also linked. So for the cross, I'm using the Google font, and that's it. And for the font, I'm using the Poppins. As like every video, we are using Poppins, and for all elements Poppin is applied. So we have two variation, 300 and 600. Cool. Let me show you how does this looks. It's index2.html on the same folder. For the color palette, let me choose another palette. Actually I have to click generate. Let's click generate. So this seems okay. Let's follow this. For the background, we'll be using this. So let's style the body. Background color as this one. This is how it looks. And for the container, Let's fix some light value. So I'll say let's fix background color this one. Cool. And let's stick to white background color for the container. Let's give width of 420 pixel. Now we want this to be at the center, so to make the children of the body to be at the center, we'll be using display flex align item center, which will vertically align items at the center. In order for the align item to work, we need to give height 100% of viewport height. Let me show you. So aligned vertically center. Now to align horizontally, we'll be using justify content center and cool. And for all unordered list, we need to remove the list style, which is bullet list style none, and the container padding 20 pixel top 20 pixel left and right, and 40 pixel bottom. We need some more space on the bottom, that's why I have added this 40 pixel at the bottom. Now we have header directly. It's just a we just need to give font size and font weight 1.3 rem, and text align center and font weight 600. We have only two variations. If you want, you can increase the size. Let's make this 1.5. I'm not going to do pixel perfect like this. You can adjust some values and make this pixel perfect. And we need a border radius of 10 pixel on all sides. Cool. Now for the list item, for all the list item which is in our div, in our HTML, we want the margin bottom to be of 2 rem. I think it's too much. 1.5 will work. Cool. Now let's directly get into the search div. So if you see on the search div, we have 3 childrens. This is search div. We have ID close, and we have ID search. Cool. So we have an input file as well. Input input field. So we'll be using position relative to the parent, so that we can use position absolute to the children's. So we need the width of the input field to be 100%, and let's give the height of 30 pixel, 40 pixel, and padding top bottom 0, left right 40 pixel. And for the icons, we'll be using position absolute left of 20 pixel. For the it should be on right, and search should be on the left. Now to horizontally align, we'll be using top of 50%, and then translate y-axis minus 50%. So close will work. The same way we have to copy paste this for the. So everything seems working fine. If you want, you can give font size to it. Font size 16 pixel. The same way 16 pixel for the search icon, and for the input field text. And the search need to have margin bottom of 1.5 rem and a margin as well, margin top as well. So let's directly get it as a shorthand property, top bottom left right. Cool, that works. Now we need to change the color. So once I focus on the input field, so before that let me remove the margin, sorry, border 0 and outline 0. Actually we can have border of 1 pixel solid black as a non-hover state, and once I focus, I want the border to be of different color. Let's say this one. Focus and make sure outline is 0, outline is none or 0. So there's a slight change. We can increase the size to 3 pixel. That's too much, I believe. Let's make this 2. The same way, when I hover it, I want the icons to change its color. So when I focus, I want the span tag to be of this color, and again we have I tag as well. Actually input field does not hold span tag. If you see, input field does not hold span tag, but again it's the sibling. So to get the sibling, we will be using this tilde sign. So I believe the color has changed, and we can increase the font size 20 pixel, just to be clear. Let's just see. Okay, the same way for the I tag. We zoom in. If you see, there's a color change. And one more thing, I want this cross only when this input field is valid. So the input field will be only valid when there is some value is inputted to it. So again we are going to use the pseudo selector, which is invalid. If it is valid, then the I tag, sorry, the span tag, let me make this, it has a id close. The span tag with id close will show the color red, just to see whether it's actually working. So if I type something, so I can see the colors getting affected. So instead of making this, we'll be using display none, and once it's valid, we'll be showing the value. So display block. By default it is going to be display none. We'll see, we'll add this over here. By default it's done. If I type something, you'll see the text. So again, since it's it will have the function of button, so we can have cursor pointer. So when I hover on it, you'll see the cursor change to pointer. Cool, that's done. Now let's get into this children. So we have list item, whatever is there, I want it to be at the display flex. So one below the, not one below the other, I want it to be side by side. So justify content space between. So we need space between. That's why both of the children of li are touching both the corners. If you have space around, you'll see space around the element. Cool, that's done. Now, or if you notice, list item has details. Inside details, you have a paragraph. This paragraph is the main header, meaning example and so on. We can have font weight of 600 to them, and everything seems alright. And for the list item, let's add a border 1 pixel solid black. So this need to be only on the left side, and let's add a padding on the left. Let's say 20 pixel, and we need some curve. So border radius top 10 pixel, top right, top left 0, bottom left 0, bottom right 10 pixel. 10 pixel looks too much. Let me make this 5 or 2. Cool, that works. Now I want to reduce the size of the span tag which is inside details. We can make this font size of 20 is the max. We can give 0.8 rem value, and cool, we have almost cloned. So if you want to change the color of this curve, you can make this as a standard color. Cool. Now let's directly jump into the JavaScript. So if you want, you can, we have to do this as well. Details, and then we have a list. So if you see, we're talking about this list. So let's make this display flex wrap margin, not for this, but for the span tag we need to give margin right. Ten pixel will be too much. 5 pixel, and we can have text decoration, underline, cursor, pointer. Cool, that works. Alright, now let's get into the second part of this video. So if you see, let me show you the console. Inspect, you'll see the console. Now we are going to fetch the API, fetch the data from the API, which is dictionary API.dev. So this is the URL which we'll be using. I'll just show you the working now, and we'll look how to use it in the code. Now if you type some random value and click on enter, you're getting the result saying that can't find result of the type data. So if you type something which is there on the database, you can see the data, or you can say the unordered list shows up. So at present this is static. We'll make this dynamic in the third part. Now let's see how to do this. So in these are the topics we'll be covering in this part. Fine. Now let's get into the actual JavaScript. Index2.html, script2.js. We don't need style2 for now, but still we'll have it. Cool. If you refresh this, this is what we left last time. Now what we need to do is we need to hide this. So get into this. We have one unordered list, and let's make this display none. And we'll be creating a div. Let me just copy paste the code just after this search box. So just after the search box or search div, we'll be placing a div. So this is just a display text. So let me show you how does this look like. So this is just a reference for now. So let me call this on the CSS. We will be hiding this. At that time I won't be able to copy paste it, just to save time I'm using it. Fine. Now what are the steps that we are going to do? The very first thing, let's get the input field, document.query selector, input. let's store this into a variable. So when there is a key up, let's add an event listener. Add event listener. So when there is a key up event, we want the data. So data can be accessed by this way, console dot and we need to pass the event dot target dot value. With this, on each input, on each value you press on the input field, you'll get that value on the console. Let's see one mistake. Let's see what it is. Let's see whether we have actually added the script tag at the bottom. Yes, everything seems fine. Refresh this, type something. Yes, you can see on each type you are able to fetch the value, but I want it only when there is a click event triggered. So if e dot key is equal to enter, we're detecting whether we have pressed the enter key, and if there is value e dot target dot value, then show the message. So with this, let me type my name and click enter, and you will be able to see the data there. Now we need to pass this into a function. So let's name this function fetchapi. Let's pass this value. For now, let's comment this. We don't need this. Now let's declare this at the top. So we'll be getting the typed word. So now we will be using a URL. Use the backtick, which is just below the escape key, and copy this line. And we need to replace the hello with the typed word with the template literal. Once this is done, we need to pass this value to the API. So fetch, pass the URL, and using then we'll be getting response in JSON value, and then we can access the result. Let's display the result, console.log result. Actually it's result. Now if I refresh and type something which is there on the database and click enter, you should see the data. And if I type something which is not in the database and click enter, you'll be getting the object with title. So we need to add a condition. So let's pass this into a function again, function, and we are passing the result and the word, which we will be getting it from here. Now we need to declare another function, and we will be getting a result as well as word, and we are checking if the result has title. So you can see if there is an error, we will be getting the object with title. If there is title, then console.log no data found in DB. If there is data, then just display the data result. Let's search. Let me type which is not there in the database and click enter. No data found in DB. Let me type which is there in the database, and you got the object. Now we need to display this value. Display the value over here. How we are going to do it? Now document.query selector will use, so this is the text info. It's a class. We'll call it info para. So now we need to pass the message. when there is an enter, I want to display a message dot inner HTML equal to backtick searching for, pass this fan tag, close this fan tag, and just give the style so that we can add font weight to it, colon 600, and use the template literal, actually template literal with the word we have searched. Actually e dot target value is the word that we have searched. Let me try. Our focus is just to replace this text with searching for Vishal. Cool, that works. Now we have to do the same thing. If there is no data found, can't find a result for this text, so in this time we can access the word variable here, and if there is data, so let me try it again. If there is no data, we will see can't find result for Vishal. Cool. Again, if there is data, we need to show the unordered list. So if you see, we have made unordered list none, so we are going to pass a class to the container. So this is a container. If there is active class, then you can see if container dot active, if container dot active is there, then we need to show the UL display block, and again if there is active class, we need to hide the text info. Let's save this, and at present we have added the class active. If I refresh this, you are seeing the static data. If I remove the active class, you're just seeing the text info data. Now we are going to add the active class with JavaScript. So if there is result, then get the container and add the class list dot add active. Now let's try. So if you remember, we have removed the active class here. If there is no data found, we should see can't find result. Cool, that works. So if there is data found, we should see the static data. Cool. And now let's read data from API and display it on the HTML. Let me show you. If I click on search, you'll see the meaning and the synopsis. So let me type. So you can see again the meaning and the synopsis. So if there is no synopsis, like, you should see the space blank. Cool. And we need to add a condition over here. If there is no data, then we need to say that this is blank. And I have made the slight modification in the code and it's working fine. So if there is no synopsis, then the data will be hidden. Cool. Now let's get into the code. Control V, script. Now over here, if I search, this is a place where we need to add. So if you see on the result, let's store this into a variable. First result, you can see of index 0, and then we have to get into meanings. Again index 0, and in the index we have definitions, so we'll use this. So now what we need to do is we need to find the data where we need to add. So the first data here, meanings, we are skipping the example because some of them has example, some of them does not have example, so it is better to avoid that div to avoid confusion. Now we have meanings and we have synopsis and we have details. So we need to have this on our HTML document dot query selector. Inside the content, not content, inside the meanings we have span. Inside the meaning we have span. Then the second one is synopsis. We don't need this. Details inside span. I think word, then detail word inside span. We have word, and then the paragraph. So we need to access this one by one. Dot inner HTML equal to. So instead of wasting time, I'll just copy paste the code here and explain you. Control V. Now on the, if you see, cool. Now if you see, we need to find the meaning. So on the result is 0. This result is 0, and then we are going to find the meanings. So meanings has 0. This has only 1 0. So we have only 1. So it's just 0. Then we have to get into definitions. This definition has 3. So we just need only 1. So getting into 1 and get the definition. We got the definition. So displaying feeling or anger, it will be displayed here. The same way, then this v tag will be the word which we got from the result from as a parameter. Then the parts of speech is again the same. Inside the meanings we have phonetics, sorry, parts of speech. Here it is, parts of speech. We are getting the adjective. That's how we make. Refresh. Let's try fun. And it's there, it's there. We don't need this synopsis. Let me remove this. It's already removed. Then we need to populate this. So to populate this is very easy again. We just need 5 values. So I'll be using for loop to receive 5. So some of them might have value, some of them does not have an value. So I have used the, if it is undefined, then make the whole synopsis div display none. So if there is value, then use the for loop and display only 5 values. You can see there's only 5 values. Again, if it is undefined, then don't display the value. If it is not undefined, then display the value. That's what I have mentioned here. So synopsis, we don't have synopsis for guilty, so it's display hidden. Fine. Now let's get it. Let's work on this. Once I click on it, we'll be able to listen what the pronunciation is. Let's look at it in the next part.